When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, and the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, grey Malkin.
What it calls.
And on.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt of the new estate.
This is the sergeant, who like a good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Take to the king the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDonwald, worthy to be a rebel, from the western isles showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak. For brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel which smoked with bloody execution, like Balor's minion carved out his passage to face the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him till he unseamed him from the naves of the chops and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had, with valor armed, compelled these skipping currents to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Well, they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell. But I am faint, my gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds, they smack of honor both. Go, get him surgeons. Who comes here?
Worthy Thane of Ross. What a haste looks through his eyes, so should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king!
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Bellona's bridegroom lacked in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched, and munched, and munched. Give me, quoth I. Aroint thee, witch, the rump-fed Runyon cried. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the Tiger. But in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou art kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other. The very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know, with the shipman's card. I'll drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live, a man forbid. Weary, 7 nights, 9 times 9, shall he dwindle, peak and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest-tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, racked as homeward he did come.
A drum Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand,
Posters of the sea and land,
Thus do go about.
thrice to thine and thrice to mine.
and thrice again to make up 9.
Peace, the charms wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called to Forres? What of these? So withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, yet are on it. Live you, or are you aught the man may question? seem to understand me by each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can, what are you?
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter.
But, sir, why do you seem to start and fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are you fantastical, or that indeed which you outwardly show? My noble partner, which you greet with present grace and great prediction, of noble having and of royal hope that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail.
Hail.
lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Senel's death I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you are the strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. And what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind, would they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so?
With self-same tune and words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success, and when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend which should be thine or his. Silence with that, in viewing o'er the self-same day, he finds thee in a stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make. Strange images of death, as thick as tale came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And, for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What, can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who once the thing lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life, which deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebels with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wrack, I know not. But treason's capital confessed and proved have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings? And those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promise no less to them.
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told. As happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill. Cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth infix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
If chance will have me king, why chance will crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him, like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced. And at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts, each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like believing it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed, as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before, that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing pays itself. Your highness part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe toward your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, that hath no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so, let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. No, we will establish our estate upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honor must, not unaccompanied, invest him only, but signs of nobleness, like stars, shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else overleap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when 'tis done to see.
They met me in the day of success. I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. Whilst I stood rapt in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me and referred me to the coming on of time with Hail, King, that shalt be. As if I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner in greatness, that thou mightest not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Famous thou art, and Cawdor, it shall be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. 'Tis too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily. Wouldst not play false, and yet would strongly win. Thou dost have, great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do. If thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wishes should be undone, hie thee hither. I might pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth both seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tending?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who were't so would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true our thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits. Tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my women's breasts, and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers. Wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief, come thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, Halt, halt. Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all hail hereafter, thy letters have transported me beyond the ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my thane, is as a book where men might read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. For welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. Its coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall, for all our nights and days to come, bring solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer, the temple-haunting martlet, does approve by his loved mansionry that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. I have observed the air is...
See, our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service in every point twice done, and then done double, we're poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the hills and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath helped him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight. Give me your hand, conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
If it were done when 'tis done, And 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, but that this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here upon this bank and shoal of time will jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions which being taught return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First as I'm his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, been so clear in his great office that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now, what news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which should be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale on what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Oh, wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest, the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor
Prithee, peace. I do dare all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it, then, that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. To be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Oh, no time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck. I know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it were smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's long journey soundly invite him. His 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, of the fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lies as in a death which cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan. What not put upon his spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received, when we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and used their very daggers, that they had done it?
Who dares receive it other, when we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
It goes down at 12.
I take 'tis later, sir.
There's husbandry in heaven. The candles are all out. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Who's there?
Friend.
What, sir, not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largeness to your offices. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we should spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
Your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it will make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still my bosom franchised and allegiance clear, I shall be counselled.
Could repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Go bid thy mistress when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. Have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? See thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going. Such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee yet, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Whiles I threat he lives. Words to the heated deeds too cold breath gives. I go. And 'tis done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for 'tis a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Was the owl that shrieked, that fatal bellman that gives the stern good night. He is about it. Doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them whether they live or die.
Hark! Who's there? What ho?
Alack! I'm afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark, I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I'd have done it. My husband?
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
Has I descended?
I,
Hark, who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bain.
This is a sorry sight.
Foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear. I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, balm of hurt and minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cries, sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more, Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Oh, my worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain sickly of things. Go get some water and wash that filthy witness from your hands. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think on what I had done. Look on it again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but his pictures. It's the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If you do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me that every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Ah, they pluck out mine eyes. Oh, great Neptune's ocean, wash this blood clean from my hand. No. This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas and Carnadine, making the green one red.
Hands are of your color. But I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water wash clears us of this deed. How easy it is then. Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark more knocking. Oh, get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
Here's a knocking indeed. Oh. If a man were portal of hell gate, he should have old turning that key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub, huh? Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enough about you. Hell, you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there? In the other devil's name, Faith, here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate himself to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's a tailor. Here's an English tailor. Come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Oh, come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock, knock. Never act quiet. What are ye? Eh? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil port it no further. I had thought to let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon. Oh, I pray you, remember the potter.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed that you do lie so late?
Oh, faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock, and drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
What 3 things does drink especially provoke?
Mammy, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. And lechery, sir. It provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him and it mars him. It sets him on and it takes him off. It persuades him and it disheartens him. Makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in a sleep and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I think drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir, in the very throat of me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think, being too strong for him, although he took up my legs sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awakened him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy Thane?
Not yet.
You did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentations heard in the air, strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible, of dire combustion and confused events, new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to.
Oh, horror, horror, horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple, and stole thence the life of the building.
What is it you say, the life?
You mean his majesty?
Approach the chamber, and destroy your sight with a new Gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarum bell! Murder and treason! Banquo and Donalbain, Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up, up, and see the great doom's image. Malcolm, Banquo, as from your graves rise up and walk like spirits to countenance this horror. Ring the bell!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house? Speak, speak.
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo, Banquo, our royal master is murdered.
Whoa. Alas, what, in our house?
Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant, there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the very lees is left this vault to brag up.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it stopped.
Your royal father is murdered.
Well, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood. So were their pillows, daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, Yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outrun the pause or reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs look like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. And there the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make his love known?
Help me. Hence. Oh.
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues? That most may claim this argument for hours.
What should be spoken here? Where our feet hidden in the auger hole may rush and seize us? Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady. And when we have our naked frailties hid that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So all.
Briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
Isle and I. Our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers and men's smiles. The near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft this shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let's not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those whom Macbeth hath slain.
Alas, the day. What good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Dalbay and the king's two sons are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still. Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither. Farewell.
Thou hast it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we'll hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time, twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, and therewithal we shall have cause of estate craving us jointly. Hie to horse. Adieu. See you return at night. Was Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be the master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Well then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares. To that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear. And under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when they first put the name of king on me and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown and put a barren scepter in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so. For Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace only for them and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings. If it be so, come fate into the list and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Now go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday that we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then now, if you considered of my speeches, know that it was he, in times past, which held you so under fortune, which you had thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you how you were born in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and notion crazed say thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now the point of our second meeting. Do you find patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospeled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue you go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shuffs, water rugs, and demi-wolves, all are clept by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike. And so of men. Now, if you've a station in that file not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world hath so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune that I would set on my life on any chance to mend it or be rid of it.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So he is mine, and in such bloody instance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Though our lives.
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on it, for it must be done tonight. Something from the castle, always thought that I require clearness. And with him, to leave no rubs nor botches in the work, his son, Fleance, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart, I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved,
my lord.
I'll call upon you straight, abide within. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
all's had, not spent when our desire is got without content. 'Tis better to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on. Things without our remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close, and be herself whilst our poor Malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, and both the worlds suffer ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, and we to gain our peace of sent to peace than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Oh, come on, gentle my lord. Sleek over your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among our guests tonight.
So shall I, love. And so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue, unsafe the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams and make our faces visitors to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo in his fleance lives.
But in them nature's copies not etern.
There's comfort, yet they are assailable.
What is to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Thou marvelest in my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me. You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. My heart speaks that they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here will I'll sit in the midst, be large in mirth. Anon will drink a measure, the table round. There's blood upon thy face.
This Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal sir. Fleance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, as whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing hair. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound in to saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe?
Aye, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenchant gashes in his head, the least of death for nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed, no teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, what 'tis making. 'Tis given with welcome. Feed were best at home, from thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Now, good digestion wait on appetite and health on both.
May it please your highness, sit.
Here we had now our country's honor roofed with a graced person of our Banquo present, who I may rather challenge for unkindness than pity from his chance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will be well again. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion, feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger, which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, impostures to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam itself. But why do you make such faces? When all is done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there. Behold, look. Lo, how say you? Why would care I, if thou canst not speak too?
What, quite unmanned in folly?
I stand here, I saw him.
Fie for shame!
Blood hath been shed ere now in the olden time, ere humane statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since too, murders have been performed too terrible for the ear. The time has been with that when the brains were out, the men would die, and there it end. But now they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is the more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, full. I drink to general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here, and all in him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
Avaunt and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. There's no other, if only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare? I dare! Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, the Hircan tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble, or be alive again. And dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me a baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow! Unreal mockery, hence! Why, so being gone, I am a man again. Pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth. Broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be? And overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange. Even to the disposition that I owe, which now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Oh, stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
We'll have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and shoofs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with the morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way. But I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I'm bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I'm in blood steeped so far that should I wade no more, returning where's tedious is to go o'er. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted ere they will be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come. Will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young, indeed.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whines.
Our beer cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw, toad that under cold stone. Days and nights has 31, sweltered venom sleeping got, boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double,
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 toil
trouble.
and trouble.
Fire,
Fire,
burn,
and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blindworm's sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble.
Double,
Double,
toil and trouble. Fire, burn, and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf, of the raving salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark, sliver in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and totter's lips, finger of the birth strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab, add thereto a tiger's chaldron for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double,
Double,
toil and trouble. Fire, burn, and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Oh, well done, I commend your pains, and everyone shall share the gains. And now about the cauldron sing like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open, locks, whoever knocks.
Now, you secret black and midnight hags, what is it you do?
Indeed, without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it, answer me. Even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
Will answer.
Say if thou hadst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call him. Let me see him.
Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thine thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth! 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 Beware, Macduff. Beware the Thane of Life. Dismiss me. Enough.
Whate'er thou art, by thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast heard my fear aright, but one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth.
Had I 3 years, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this? that rises like the issue of a king and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it. The lion meddled, proud, and take no care. Who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam wood to high Dunsany hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound roots, sweet bodements good? Rebellious dead, rise never to the wood of Birnam rise, and our high place Macbeth shall live in lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek
No more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. Where sinks that cauldron? And what noise is this?
Show.
Oh.
Show.
Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Where are they? Gone? Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in, without there.
What's your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and dare know those that trust them! I did hear the galloping of a horse, who was it came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff has fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time, thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom. To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansions, his titles, in a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. The poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love, as little is the wisdom, where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you, school yourself. But for your husband, who is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool, and should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Bless you, fair dame. I'm not to you known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you were foul cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you, I dare abide no longer.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm, but I remember now I am in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometimes accounted dangerous folly. And then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense to say that I have done no harm? What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Come, let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall and birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland, and yelled out like syllable of dolor.
What I believe I'll wail, what no believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance, this tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me and wisdom, to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge. But I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance, even there where I did find my doubts, why in that rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without leave-taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basis sure, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs, the title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord, I would not be the villain that thou think'st, for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke, it weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England I have offer of goodly thousands, but for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
And what should he be?
It is myself, I mean, and whom I know. All the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem as a lamb, being compared with my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptered, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again, since the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed? Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee oftener on her knees than on her feet died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeat'st upon thyself hath banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed? Before thy here approach, old Seward with 10,000 warlike men, already at a point with setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile. See who comes here.
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin. Welcome hither.
Good God, betimes remove the means that make us strangers.
Where are men?
Stand Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows once has seemed to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell, scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well,
And all my children?
well too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not slow of speech, how goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of health. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distress.
Be it their comfort. We are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good sword and 10,000 men, an older and better soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words that would be howled out into the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern? They, the general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but and it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that e'er they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner whereon the quarry of these murdered deer to ask the death of you.
Merciful heaven, what man dare pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words? The grief that does not speak whispers the o'er-fraught heart and bids it break.
My children, too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife, killed too.
I have said.
Aid their comfort. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones, did you say all? Oh, hellkite, all! What? All my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop!
Dispute it like a man!
I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone for your sword. Let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes, and braggart with my tongue. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission, front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length, set him. If he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since his majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not repeat after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and, upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She is light by her continually, 'tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out! Damn spot! Out, I say! One, two. Why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and afeard. What need we fear? Who knows it? When none can call our power to account, yet I would have thought the old man to have so much blood in him.
Do you mark that?
Saying a fife and a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands never be clean? No more of that, my lord. No more of that. Tomorrow with this starting.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke which she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Yet here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia could not sweeten this little hand.
What a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those who have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds.
Your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again. Banquo is buried. He cannot come out the grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. Oh, there's knocking at the gate. Come. Come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge is burned in them for their dear causes, would to the bleeding and the grim alarm excite the mortified man.
Near Burnham Wood, shall we will meet them. That way are they coming.
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry.
What is the tyrant?
Great Dunsany, he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad, others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury, but for certain.
Those who he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on to give obedience where 'tis truly owed.
Make our march towards Burnham.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly. All. Till Burnham word removed to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power over thee. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor taint with fear. Devil damn thee, black thou cream-faced loon! Where gotst thou that goose look?
There's 10,000
Yeast, villain!
soldiers, sir.
We'll prick thy face and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy! What soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul! Those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers, whey-face?
Such force, so please you.
Take thy face hence. Satan! I'm sick at heart when I behold Satan, I say! This push will cheer me ever or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. Satan!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till my bones from my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Hang those that talk of fear. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Hast thou not ministered to a mind diseased? Pluck from a memory-rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Your physic to the dogs, all none of it. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. What rhubarb senna, what purgative drug could scour these English hence? Hearest thou of them?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubt it nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery ere in report of us.
We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches. That will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative, their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue must arbitrate. Towards which, advance the war!
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still they come. Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. What is that noise?
It is the cry of woman, my good lord.
I have almost forgot the taste of fear. The time has been when my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in it. I have supped my full with horrors. Direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious, my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if it not be so. Within these 3 miles may you see it coming, I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakest false upon the next tree, thou shalt hang alive to famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. Pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm, and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is no flying hence nor tarrying here. Begin to weary of the sun, in which the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell! Blow wind, come rack, at least we'll die with harness on our back.
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are.
Make all our trumpets speak, give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What see that was not born of woman? Such one I am to fear are none.
That way the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face! If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or my sword with an unbattered edge I sheath again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter, one of greatest notes seems broided. Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do batter upon them.
Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Thou losest labor. As easy mayest thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. But let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
To spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believe that palter with us in a double sense, and keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
And yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have you, as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and underwrit, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield! To kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet and be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham Wood be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. For my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cried hold enough.
Hail, King, for so thou art. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl. that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kingsmen henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honor named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else, that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure time and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.